Up to it. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. My name is Victoria Pikulska. I'm the founder of Victory Art, and I would like to welcome you on our last seminar, but by our amazing guest lecturer, Paulina from GJW Gallery. And I'm very excited about this specific seminar because it's such an important topic. And I feel that I keep saying it all the time, but it's a really important topic.
Okay.
Yes.
Great to hear that.
But I'm not going to take more time from you, Paulina. So just feel free to start and go with your lecture.
Okay. Hopefully, you will feel fulfilled with this information that I will give. So again, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Victoria. I'm really glad that I could be here with you this evening. This is my last lecture with Victory Art. Hopefully, it will be interesting for you and give you some hints or information that might help you or just open your mind for some issues. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is to discuss about funding art in general, challenges facing the art world today. Of course, I'm not starting with any disclaimers. I'm just so we'll start with the text and with the information. And for today's meeting, and subject, I prepare 4 points that I would like to be guided with, and that I would like to talk a little bit more about. So first, I'm going to talk about founding art in general. So I'm going to comment the founding art and give you some information. Then I'm going to show you some models of financial support of art. And I will try to discuss somehow how art has changed and what is the role of art nowadays, right now. And I show you my key challenges facing our world today that I picked for today and that I assume are the most serious right now. So starting with the founding art, this is very general comments and very general start. And actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about the role of art that I'm going to discuss also later, but here is a good time and place to do so. So what we can and what we have to say at the beginning is that the art is the most beautiful expression and fulfillment of human thought. And this one and every other slogan, I will say, I'm sure it's really obvious or pretty obvious for you, but it might be pretty good introduction for our subject. Okay, so art has always been a creative way to preserve history, views, opinions, passions, and generally it express how to felt to exist in a particular time. And art is often a preferred vehicle for social change. This is the general role of art, I would say. And art is around us, and you experience art every day, and every tangible man-made, let's say, object you see or touch is a result of the artist's vision. And I'm sure that art can fulfill its function and enter the art market and even history when there is someone who will buy a work of art and put it on the public display. So that means that art history consists of works that fulfill the needs of and goals of clients rather than artists. And this is a good introduction for the funding, for the information that are somehow connected with founding art, because the concept of, let's say, sponsorship and patronage basically means selfless, mainly financial support for the implementation of various projects, here the artistic projects, and determining the formation, persistence, or disappearance of significant artistic trends. So the issue of patronage is in art become a subject of study within sociology and art theory very late, because only in the 1980s. Well, I'm talking about sponsorship and patronage because this is just the main and basic idea when you think about the founding art. Okay, so generally patronage is understood as funding for the artist and a common phenomenon, and it is common phenomenon. And what we have to say that this is also exceeds the limits of imagination in some cases, especially when we talk or think about founding arts in different continents like America, where there's a really huge money involved in founding art. And also as a beginning of discussion of a founding art, we could try to also talk about the types of patronage. So it could be overt, so politically and economically powerful patronage, and it could be covered it is covered when it works openly, but it is difficult to determine who ordered the work and on whose behalf, and who pays for the work of art, and who exhibits it for whose money. Okay, so in other words, you can just be open with donating money for the art, and everybody could know, and it could be the common information, as well as you could be hidden and unknown as a donator or sponsor. Okay, so knowledge, generally the rules governing the art world as a system of production is not necessary for the reception of the art on the aesthetic level, of course, but it is necessary for understanding the history of art, because the history of art is the history of patronage, actually, because patronage started with the history and also with the art in ancient times, and it goes through the ages, and it's happening also right now. Okay, so starting from general issues, we could just move a little bit to the modes of financial support of art. And there are a lot of mechanisms, at least really a couple of them, for funding the art. And they're probably complicated, but not so much that you could not understand it or be familiar with. So the basic division of types of financing the art is, in my opinion, the private and the public funding. And the private financing of art, we can include, of course, sponsorship and patronage. That's the difference between those two definitions, as well as the activities of associations, a very different one, and foundations, also very different one, also public and private foundations that are run by banks or, let's say, automotive companies or legal sector, like my sector. As this is a little privacy here, as you might remember from my last lectures, I am in a different profession. I am in the legal profession generally, and a part of that profession, I also work with the art, and our project is basically the project that's also is funding the artist, and not only it's promoting the artist, but it's also funding him. And the other private financing way of the art is also crowdfunding, that become very popular in the last time. And public financing of the art consists of donating art from a state budget of self-government or other European organization. And the policy of budget planning and design priorities in area of public financing is largely based on a Council of Europe study that is called European Task Force for Culture and Development. And this is the document where the basic principles were put it, and the countries, states that are building the budget for financing the art could just use it. And the basic principles are just equal access to culture, is promotion of creativity and culture, or preservation of cultural identity. And these are basic rules that somehow goes together with planning of a public budget for the art. Okay, so general, when we are talking about the public financing the art for the country as a central entity, the most important thing is to subsidize museums and other centers related to the heritage preservation. That's really pretty obvious thing. And when I made just a quick look through the different countries and through the way of building the budget, public budget in different countries, I find some interesting points here and also differences. So here I'm gonna show you this. And I found it that the France is currently the most interesting country for creators because has the highest budget for the culture. Okay, and general cultural policy is directed and controlled by the state. And in addition, there is an extensive system supporting artistic activity, like foundations, other funds, studios for artists. They have money for renovating the studios or just finding the place for the artists. They had a special status for the artist that you should be, or you could be registered as the artist and you get the special financial support in every month when you, for example, perform the art that you usually do. And also the France has the policy of 1% for the culture. So this is actually the benefit, the tax benefit. A similar situation we have in Germany. The central level is strongly supported by the activities of the local offices, which support also the local initiatives. And there is also a pension security and a social security system for the artist, a special one that support the artist. Other thing is the art councils belonging to the England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, and not the state are responsible for finance in relation to the art in Great Britain, for example. And what is also an interesting thing is that most of the United Kingdom's subsidized cultural institutions are non-profit entities with charitable status, and they're entitling both organization and donors to tax benefit or other privileges. And for example, in Finland, there is a specialized grant policy adopting the form of grants for artists. This is some kind of supplementary remuneration. And I also read that it could last like really couple years, even 10 years. So that's very interesting and also supportive for the artists and the art. And Finland has and also provides pension and financial support for the artist. I didn't give the information here on the slide, but also in Poland, and I'm sure that in every country of the west side of Europe and in this part of European Union, there are grants or policies or programs for artists that support them and that give them the financial remuneration and help in operating, let's say, in the art market. And as in Poland and other European Union countries, funds are also from the European budget and are a very important source of funding the arts. Now, under a variety of European programs, as well as under structural funds, institutions, as well as private entities can seek funding for projects. And you know the best, we are just right now benefiting this kind of project with the Victory of Art. Having these Erasmus Plus projects that we could be active here and could help the artist in let's say moving in the market of the art. And except of this public domain way of funding the art, there are also other intermediate players that are in the market that eventually, I would say, finance art outside the public domain. And I would think here about the galleries, about the auction house, brokers, or private collectors or marchands. Of course, they're not donating the money just without giving something else, but still, I'm sure that in the frame of this main course of acting, also the galleries could somehow be the donator or could funding the art and the artist. And so, yeah, going smoothly to the other part of the title, how art has changed and what is the role of art, like having in mind or bearing in mind the founding of the art and the way of founding the art, we could now discuss or hear a little bit about general tendency of the art world. And the art world has obviously changed substantially over the last few years. I'm sure that the experienced artists would agree with me in this part and in this point. And the significant changes are the general: more people, more event, more publication, more artists. And that's the general, I think, the hint that we could say when we talk and think about changing the art, because art has moved from a margin. I think we can say that to the center with all the losses and the gains that this entitles. So, and the contemporary art in alliance with institutionalization and marketing and media has gained, I think, unprecedented popularity and become global eventually. Okay, so we have a wide access to people, to work, to information, and this also impacts to the on the art. And the 20th century gave birth to a multitude of experiments, of course, in the meaning of the art, and also visual and new conceptual styles, and also new visual styles just have been created. And actually, the art has a different way right now and different, let's say, shape, because every daily activities could have been appropriate into artistic, could be, become artistic projects that encourage the participation of the viewer. And that's, I think that's interesting way of moving the art apart. And the benefit of art is just not an element for interior or exterior. So this is the sign of a change. Okay, so yeah, art is not only right now the element of interior or exterior, but also this is a viable form of investment, okay, and highlights important issue that the world is dealing with. So that's, I would say, it's the language, and also is the way of making money, and it's strongly connected with money in both ways. So when you're funding the art, you somehow engage the money, but it works also in a different way. And the crypto art and NFTs have become invaluable assets. Okay, so mainstream artists have begun to adopt this medium, and it's existing in the world, in the market right now, and probably it will be let's say evolving in this way. And moreover, what else we can say, that the art and the tech are coming together, and technology is very much involved in an artistic world, and the artists are using the technology in creation and in creating the artwork. So so that also the sign of a changes when we think about how the art is changed or has changed. Okay, but it's also building the new features for the artist, this technology and the new way of creation. And what else changed in the art and shows us the different perspective is that street art has retained its popularity throughout the past decade, with many famous names that everyone, of course, heard and know: Banksy, Cobra, and others. And with the recent political conflicts as well as social unrest in the world, I think that street art has generated more attention and will continue to do so. You know what prices could get the Banksy's work, murals, and you know that graffiti is like extremely popular among the young artists, and not only so. This is the possibility that we observe. Okay, and like looking at the art, also we could think about the art also as the way of change of art, is that the learning the art form makes us economically viable, and also helping us to create and manage and distribute art while employing many people in this process. So art and creating art is the process, and this process is changing as well as the world is changing and the market is changing. So it also gives the new opportunity for the artist and for the art, that it could involve more actions and people. Yes, and bearing all this in mind, we could, I think, slowly go towards our team that is key challenges that facing art world today. I'm sure that everybody has some assumptions and has some opinions about that. And if you are in the artist market, and if you are the artist and you work in art, you feel that that there are pretty challenges that are in the front of us. Okay, so what I tried to do is try to list them here on this pages and this presentation as a hint for the, let's say, small discussion over the points. Okay, so the exit points. And the main challenge I would put on the top of the list is the power of money that is in the art world and that is running the art world. Of course, the definitions is okay, and the opinions might be different, that you might think that not much money are involved in art, business art, but I'm pretty sure that plenty of money is involved here. And during the last few years, the vast infrastructure of museums, galleries, collections, and foundations worldwide has created a system based on power and money. Maybe you'll not feel it in our domestic, let's say, atmosphere, but when you look worldwide and globally, I think that you feel that it could be really huge and great ways, but also opportunities to work. Okay, so the museums are really nice right now. The buildings and the exhibitions are modern, and they build museums in the countries, and they care about the culture very much. And I think the scale of money that is in this area is really high, and it could help, of course, but it also could be the danger, I believe, because as I pointed here in the little bit lower, like Europol and Interpol's counterterrorism services has indicated that trafficking in artworks is an increasingly popular way to both launder money and finance terrorism. So that's why I just gave you the information that this is the system based on the power and money, and it's in some situations and opportunities be the real danger. And the Union, European Union, signaled this in a directive, a special one, that I also put it here, and this is directive of European Parliament and the Council from 2015 on the prevention of the use of the financial system for the purposes of money laundering and terrorist financing, amending other regulations. And this basic and European and general regulation also affects our country and domestic regulations that are dealing with the launder money and financing terrorism. Also, it is put it in a Polish bill that is dealing with this problem. Okay, and the other thing that could be introduced or could be discussed as a key challenge facing art today is the disappearance of a truly critical apparatus. So in some opinion, nowadays the critical voices are really low, are not I don't know, have the main influence on the art, and something that it's not positive for the art, that the opposite, art needs constructual critic, and that will help art to become wider and better eventually. And there's also the conflict between the new global audience and a visually fluent people versus the traditional art world allies. And this could be the challenge in the future, that we'll have to find a way to, let's say, introduce the audience to that are fluent in the visual activities or arts, and to show them, for example, the traditional art, or to find a way of showing the traditional art to the visually fluent people. Okay, and what else we can say?
We have 8 minutes left.
8 minutes left. Okay, I should be on time with this 8 minutes. Also, I think the challenge is to speed. The speed, because the speed defines today's art world, and the greater speed is, the less time for the careful thought and the genuine pleasure of art. And the art is everything is fast, or is faster in the art than it used to be. And well, we need to get used to it and also try to fit somehow, because not every artist is so familiar with, for example, I don't know, social media that are fast, that gives the information, and you need to be on time, and you need to react on time. And a couple more key challenges that I believe we will need to face with, and the art will need to face with, is a changing structure of the art market and increasing role of the auction house. As I mentioned about the way of funding the art as a mecenas and sponsoring the art, it was the leading way of, like, let's say, financing or supporting the art. When we have a promoter that were in a close connection with the artist and had an influence to the artist and to the art. And now I think the structure is going in this toward the, let's say, galleries and auction houses that are selling the art like basic goods, or they have a way of selling the art that is more like in a production process than in individual contact with the artists. So worldwide and globally, the auction houses are in the force right now. And looking and thinking about the exhibition of the art and about the showing of the art, and about the public, let's say, domain of the showing of the art, I could say that museums need more money to exhibit, and they need the idea and need to do adventurous shows. Because they otherwise might not be able to do, because the people will not be interested in facing the museum's exhibition and going to the museums and to take the art in the very, let's say, traditional way of showing the art. And also some danger could be that the artists watch the galleries and museums, and also, I guess, the auction houses for what is popular and saleable. So that could be the challenge, that we would not like to create the art only because we would like to gain money for this, and not only because we would like to sell it, but it's really important that we sustain the art as this basic way of expressing human feelings and emotions, and also opinions, apart and accept the money that could bring. Of course, every art needs to be have a funding, but still, the general issue of art should be just a part of selling. And an auction and art fair prices are increasingly an index of quality, and it's not supposed to do so and to be so. And it's also with the connection with the point above, when I say that the artists watch the galleries and museums for what is popular and saleable. So not only the perspective of popularity and money should be the most important in creating and in showing, exhibiting, and doing the art. And at the end, art helps cultures to unite and boost economic growth eventually, and is helping the world become a prettier and a happier place to live. So what we should and can do is to support it and try to be the best as we could in this art market, and try to do the best we can. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation that I prepared for you this evening. I also invite you for the contact if you would like to, and if you have particular inquiry related in the Polish galleries or art market, please feel free to contact with GJW Gallery and also with our legal firm.
Thank you so much, Paulina, for today and for this great lecture. I personally learned a lot. Thank you as well for sharing your contact. And I would love to say to everybody that if you have any questions, this is the perfect time to ask your questions or to write in a chat all your questions. If you're interested to talk to Paulina directly, she's going to do a few consultancy sessions in the upcoming 6 months. So we'll be starting from January until the end of June. And if you're interested to get advice about the funding of art or eventually legal things, she's the perfect person to talk to. So in that case, you can contact our curator at curator@victoria.eu, and we're going to get you in touch with Paulina, and we're going to manage all consultancy sessions. So
thank you.
Gladly. I would love to say that I very much enjoyed your lessons, Paulina, your lectures, and I'm looking forward to the collaboration in Q1 and Q2 of 2023.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, and we stay in touch.
Yes. Have a great evening, everybody.
Have a great evening too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.